Shalom, shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone, as well as those men who preach and teach the likewise doctrine. I want to say shalom to the Akim and few Akwaf that may be listening. This is your brother Batakala Yahuda from GMS Camp here in Chicago. I'm coming back at you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. And today, I just want to do a little quick hit, Lord willing, to be edifying. But I wanted to talk about paying attention and really evaluating. And the reason that I want to talk about paying attention and evaluating is because even for people in the world, this is not just exclusive to individuals that's in the truth. Even for people in the world that's committing wickedness, etc., you know, Yahweh Shai are not wicked. They are not unjust. They are not unbalanced. So what happens when you're doing wickedness? Prior to your destruction, you will be given a warning. And whether you decide to carry on in said wickedness and pay the price and not take heed to the warning is completely up to you. But the warning is always given. Okay. Now we're gonna go to Ezekiel 3 today and just read this quick. And Lord willing, we can wrap it up. I'm on the way to the camp, but I had to get this one in quick. So we're gonna start at Ezekiel 3:17, and it says, "Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth and give them warning from me." Now here he's Ezekiel is being given the command to go out and prophesy and inform Israel of their infractions against the law, and to warn them of what the consequences of that will be if they continue to do so. And of course, in this example, like I said, we've got Ezekiel coming out, and he's actually telling them of the warning. And that is one way that will happen, especially when you're dealing with the men of the Lord, or, if the Lord just really has extreme mercy on you to where he'll really just send somebody to say it straight up like that. But sometimes, the Lord will send you a warning that may not be as overt or as verbal as somebody coming and saying, stop doing that or you're going to perish. It may just be, certain things happen and you have to pay attention. And just like the scripture says that Ezekiel was made a watchman for the house of Israel, you have to conduct yourself in that fashion even in your own life, not just to inform others. Okay, this is verse 18. "When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand." Okay, now it goes in even further into explaining that as somebody who's picked up the plow and has professed to be a man of the Lord and has decided to embark in the work, you have an obligation to warn individuals when they're going off. Because if you don't warn them when they're going off, that's the same thing as you, really it's worse than you committing the infraction that they're committing, because you're just watching them destroy themselves. And, depending on what they're doing, other people that could be involved with that as well, or other innocent bystanders as well. All of these things are your fault if you don't give the warning and you know better. Okay. Let's continue. But and also this extends to the Most High, and it's gonna go down and say it even more. And the reason why the Most High is placing this burden on Ezekiel and on all the men of the Lord is because this is something that he carries himself. Okay, and he acts through men. So since he has held himself to the standard of being just and not just destroying people without proper warning, and since he's about a real balance and not a false balance, and about being a righteous judge, the warning has to come. Okay, and that's why he's commanding Ezekiel to warn the house of Israel, because that's the way that the Most High carries himself as well. So if you want to be somebody who claims to walk with the Most High, or somebody who's doing the work of the Most High, you have to conduct yourself in the way that he himself conducts himself. Okay, to the best of your ability, of course. But when we're talking about something like giving somebody a warning when they're going off, that's not hard. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that's impossible, as far as, because it's things that the Lord will do that are impossible. And, you know, it's certain things that we can't be held up to that standard in this flesh. But this is not one of those things, okay? This is verse 19. Yet if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. Okay, so once you give the warning, your name is cleared. Once the Most High, even if it's not somebody physically that comes and warns you, as far as it's a man of the Lord warning you, if the Most High places something in your life that lets you know maybe I shouldn't keep doing what I'm doing, it's up to you to take that into consideration. Now, after the warning has been given, it's all on the person that's committing the infraction now to either keep doing it or to make the adjustment so that they don't have to deal with the punishment that comes with it. All right. Verse 20. Again, when a righteous man doth turn from his righteousness and commit iniquity, and I lay a stumbling block before him, he shall die. Because thou hast not given him warning, he shall die in his sin, and his righteousness which he hath done shall not be remembered, but his blood I will require at thine hand. Okay? And you know, it's going into greater detail to where even if a man is a righteous man and he's doing what he's supposed to do, and then the Lord puts an obstacle in between him and being righteous, and the man goes and ends up stumbling over the stumbling block, but you as a fellow righteous man saw the stumbling block, and maybe that brother didn't recognize it the way he was supposed to, or maybe that brother was too invested in emotionalism and too in his feelings at that moment to realize what was happening, but you did, and you didn't say nothing. Guess what? Not only is this brother going to die for going off, but all the righteousness that he did is not going to be remembered, because he's going to be remembered for what he died for, which was wickedness. And you're going to have to carry that burden and shoulder that burden too, because you saw it coming and you didn't tell him. All right. Verse 21. Nevertheless, if thou warn the righteous man that the righteous sin not, and he doth not sin, he shall surely live, because he is warned, and thou hast delivered thy soul. Okay. And that's telling you the reward. All right. If you warn a brother and you give a brother counsel, and he ends up making the adjustment, whether he was going off in ignorance or going off on purpose, or if he just didn't care, if you give the counsel and the brother ends up taking heed to your counsel and making the adjustment, now you're going to receive credit for saving that brother and keeping that brother on track. Okay. And that's a very big deal, and that's a very big reward. And even in the story or the parable where the three brothers had the talents, and Yahushua gave them their talents, and one brother increased his to 10, I believe. One brother increased his to 5, and then there was one brother that buried his and didn't increase his and just had 1. And you know, the two brothers that increased theirs to 10 and 5 respectfully got rewarded when the judgment day came. But the individual who didn't increase his, he had to deal with the consequences for not increasing his. And the reason that I bring that up is because that's a metaphor for somebody being given the truth or being given the way to live righteously, and then not going out and warning other people that they need to be doing that as well. They deciding that they're going to keep that information to themselves, and they're not going to help nobody. And that's a very, you will have to pay a very heavy toll if you do that. Okay. And the reason why I'm talking about this lesson is because something transpired in my life last night. And as far as like committing wickedness, to my knowledge, I didn't do nothing wickedly to this person. I wasn't carrying myself in a wicked fashion, but I don't know how this person is living her life outside of when she around me. Okay. And you know, a lot of times these women, they're not going to tell you the whole story. They're going to give you scenes from the movie. They're not going to give you the motion picture in totality. Okay, so I don't know what this woman got going on in her life. And even if she didn't have something going on in her life, guess what? She still is bad news for me because the warning was given. Okay, and if I was in my emotions and if I just got upset and didn't take heed to the warning, I'd have went and fall down into the pit of destruction because of that. Okay, so we really got to be careful, and we got to pay attention to what's going on, and we got to take heed to everything that's happening around us. Okay, it might not always be somebody coming and physically telling you not to do this, man, but you will be given a warning, because the Most High, as it says here in this Ezekiel 3, would be unjust if you weren't. The Most High, or anybody who knew you was going off, would be unjust if the warning wasn't given. Okay, So take heed to everything that's happening in your life, man. Pay attention to the warnings and constantly reevaluate what you're doing, man. And this is to me first and foremost, man. We got to be getting better every day. We so far from where we need to be as far as, at least in my case, to be acceptable to the Lord, okay? We ain't nowhere near clean, all right? And of course, doing this work and, you know, the blessing of grace and the blessing of mercy are going to play a big factor in whoever gets saved. And you know, the Lord understands that nobody's clean, but the fact that nobody's clean and the fact that that grace and that mercy is required should make you feel some kind of way and should make you want to constantly be reevaluating yourself so that you can at least be as close to acceptable and presentable as possible when that day comes, okay? But you know, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I just want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of Great Millstone, as well as those men that preach and teach the likewise doctrine. No compromises, not mixing it to fix it. I want to say shalom to the fellow Akim and few Akwath that may be listening. Kwame Yasharal and Ababa Ball. Until next time, I'll be back at you with another video, Lord willing. Shalom.